and gentlemen, you're watching Foodcaster. I'm Michael Seven Michael. And today we have in our studio Laura Dee. How you doing, Laura?
Hi, great, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Laura, you're a musician?
Nope.
You're an artist? You're a juggler?
I'm anything you want me to be, but no. I am a fitness trainer.
You are a fitness trainer. And you have a very interesting relationship with food. And we were talking a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So, first of all, what were you doing before becoming a trainer and that relationship with food, transitioning to the relationship with food right now?
Sure. So, my relationship with food, and the way that's affected well, I would say there are different facets of my life that's affected my relationship with food.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, what I was doing before, which was, I was in marketing, digital marketing for 10 plus years.
Dun dun dun, nerd.
Oh, it was awesome. It's been awesome working with a bunch of different entertainment clients, travel, luxury wines, fashion.
Right.
But aside from that, there are other things also that really affect my relationship with food, that being my heritage, my being a mom, so that pre-post pregnancy, and also some health concerns that have come up in my life, and just my body type, right? So all those things really affect my relationship with food. So starting at the beginning with my heritage, me being a Puerto Rican and Afro-Latina woman who enjoys that flavorful food from the Caribbean. We have a lot of, flavorful herbs and spices and whatnot. And, being Puerto Rican, we tend to eat a lot of heavy carbs, the rice and beans and fried foods. And then we have our root vegetables, which are awesome, the ñame and the batata and,
What is that? Say that again?
Yams.
No.
In English.
Batata.
Which is just like potato, like a sweet potato.
Batata.
Batata.
I want some batata.
So good too. It's so good. And and plantains and things like that, right? In addition to like really delicious tropical fruits and whatnot, right?
Right.
But it was really just trying to find the balance there. We, tend to cook our foods with a lot of sugar and salt and oil, right? And which is really the worst thing to eat, especially if you're like a diabetic. And in my family, diabetes and hypertension runs high. That's a big thing in my family. So, thinking about things like that, and just also, as a matter of fact, Latinos in general, have like higher rates of contracting diabetes and are 50% more likely to die of diabetes and of liver disease than, non-Latino whites. And that's according to the CDC, right? But there are like about 29 million people in America living with diabetes, right? Over 80 million people who are predisposed or like pre-diabetic or basically at risk.
And hold your thought, what you're about to say, but as soon as you say it, the only thing I can think about is especially in the urban areas, all the corner stores.
Yeah, the bodegas.
90% of what's in there
is crap.
Is that statistic.
Yeah.
So you're basically killing the community.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, like those bodegas, and not so much now, but historically those bodegas were run by Puerto Rican and Dominicans back in the day, the old New York. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you're feeding that, it's those poor food choices to your own people, right? And Latinos really, it's a startling number, 80 million people who are at risk for diabetes, and Latinos are at the top of that list. So knowing that, really affected my thought process and how I approached food. More so once I became more educated about it and once I cared about it. And that, didn't start happening until I really did get into more fitness, I've always been into sports. I've always been an athlete, growing up. But becoming a fitness trainer, once I became a fitness trainer, it's like, okay, now I really have to understand, the connection between food and fitness, my body, understand that. And learning that and becoming more educated. And granted, I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I am not a certified nutritionist, okay? I really am not. And I don't claim to know everything there is about food. I can only tell you what my experiences have been, my own personal experiences.
And there's a difference between a nutritionist
and a trainer?
A fitness trainer.
Yes.
And also someone that focuses more on wellness.
Yes.
Those are different.
I feel like wellness is like the umbrella, if you will, because there are other things that fall under wellness. So yes, physical health, nutrition.
Quote unquote physical fit or look fit.
Yeah.
And totally be not healthy.
Facts.
So I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So.
Because I could lift a truck, but,
Yeah, you can lift a truck, but then your inside is like sludge. You know what I mean?
But if you have some patatas.
You have patatas. But if they're cooked right, because that's the thing too, like with that food, like it's so good. And it may not be the healthiest, but there are ways to make that food healthy, So instead of frying it, bake your plantains, bake your yams instead of having them fried, things like that. Don't use so much oil or salt in your rice. Instead of white rice, which is really popular, use brown rice, things like that. So it's about just, swapping things out and making better, meal choices altogether. So, I learned that, and then once I became pregnant, it was like, okay, like this is real. Like my body, rejected some of the things that I had previously loved, you know. And so I was like, okay, like my baby don't like this, and so it's telling me my body, it's like I shouldn't be having this. And then after, giving birth, things started to change, for me. Like obviously physically I was not the same, so I was getting used to my body.
Got taller?
I totally got taller and wider. But it started to figure out, how, like most women who after pregnancy, like, oh man, they just don't feel themselves in their body anymore. It's like it's a new body. It's like what do I do? Like, and a lot of times you're like, okay, I gotta work out. It's all working out. But it's really, honestly, I would say 70% of the change you want to see in your body comes from nutrition. The other is exercise, right? So I started going hard at the gym. And then I connected with a trainer who really helped whip me into shape, and through discussion and learning and educating myself, and I learned, okay, what's good for me and what's not. And it took a lot of trial and error and practice and creating a habit for myself and just making sure I also a commitment. How
does one even find someone like that to help them? Like, did you just
find a trainer? I was fortunate enough to, at the time, I was a member of the Y on Bedford in Brooklyn. And there was a trainer who worked there who every single day was like, come on, let's come into the weight room, let's lift weights. And I was just going there every single day, being very meek. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and just do cardio.
Okay.
And every single day I was just doing cardio, thinking that was all I needed to do. And this trainer every single day was like, no, you need to strength train if you want to see your body change, if you want to get stronger, if you want to, really see the cuts in your body,
Right.
So I gave in one day and I was like, sure, all right, cool, let's do this. And, after going through an embarrassment of not being able to lift one bar of, I actually, made a commitment to myself at that point. I was like, first of all, number one, I'm never going to be embarrassed again at this gym. And number two, like, I really want to see the change in my body. I want to feel good. I want to live a longer, potentially happier life,
Right.
So it's knowing those things and knowing that at that point I had a son, so I was like, I want to live not only for myself, but for my son. So, it's stuff that you probably heard before, but it's true. It's true. And having a little person like that, like, come out of your body, like, will change your entire thought process in your life. So, yeah.
So so let's look at it from culturally, things you grew up with.
Yeah.
Eating.
Yeah. Sure.
Is there anything that you just won't introduce your son to?
So that's really interesting.
As far as diet,
my son, who is now 7 years old, he's just now been introduced to poultry.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
I got so many jokes to that. Wait till he's in junior high. He'll know about chickens. Sorry.
Previous to that,
Edit that.
Yeah. Previous to that, he was on a strict vegetarian diet.
Oh, wow.
And he expressed interest.
So from birth to 7,
yeah.
strict vegetarian.
Strict vegetarian.
Wow.
Yeah. I would say till about maybe like 5 or 6 we started introducing. He then, wanted to try fish. Okay. So I was like, all right, cool, we could do fish, but he didn't express any interest in it, Okay. And so until then, I was like, all right, it's funny how we as parents, we're like, no, we're gonna you want to make the choices for your children, and at that age, you should be making the choices for your children. But I knew that I wanted better for him, and obviously, the more you know, then you're like, okay, you make smarter decisions.
Healthy child.
Healthy child. He's super healthy. I thank God. But yeah, so now we've introduced chicken and turkey and whatnot, and he loves it. Okay. Of course. But yeah, I'm not even gonna go into the whole nutrition in the school system. The public school system is just a whole nother story. But yeah, it's I try to balance things out. To me, everything is balance, and I try to balance it out. I always say, if you do eat healthy most of the time, then indulging in something that may not be the best choice, like something sweet, a cake or pastry or something like that, go for it. Right. Live your best life. Be happy. I do that. I go for it. That's how I live. And I'm not one to chastise people. Even my clients, they're I'm always on top of them. Hey, you have to make some changes, but I can't be hawking them. I don't live with them,
Now,
so.
how did you keep up? Because you didn't grow up vegan.
No.
Or vegetarian, anything like that.
No. Again, I just being pork, my mom was always frying up pork chops, and then on top of that, my father was a butcher.
Oh, wow.
A butcher. So he would bring home the best cuts of meat possible. Filet mignons and Kobe steaks and a lot of pork. Again, being Latino, pork is a big staple in our family, And so I stopped eating pork over 20 years ago. And when my father found out, he was just gasp, blasphemy. How could you do this? Meat is the best thing on the earth. Right. But I knew otherwise, and also I pay attention to my body, the way my body reacts to things,
And how did it react? What's
Just I felt sluggish and heavy every time I ate pork, or any meat in general. And not
you're a vegan now.
I'm not a vegan now. Okay. I eat more of a vegetarian diet. I still do have poultry and fish. Okay. To stop that, it's a process. But I do know that my body and how I feel does thrive and feel better on a more vegetarian vegan diet. Right. I know this, but baby steps.
All right. Well, so if someone's watching and says, you know what, I want to get in the gym.
Yeah.
And I want to exercise, but I want to be strong.
Yeah.
That whole thing. I need that protein. I need these vitamins. Do you suggest?
Yeah, of course.
Multivitamins?
Yes, I do. Granted, I don't support you pumping a whole bunch of supplements into your body that you can get naturally from food, right? Okay. However, I'd be lying if I said I did not take supplements myself, and I don't take any BCAAs or anything like that. I like to acquire things naturally from my food. I do take multivitamins every day. I do take a B complex. I do take my B12. I do take zinc.
Can you get Bs without? Because that's a big thing universally that people are deficient. B and D.
D is from the sun, and it's very common. People are like, "Oh, I'm deficient in vitamin D." My doctor said. I'm like, "Okay, just step out into the sun, and you will commonly people will be deficient in that, especially in the winter time, because more people are your homebodies. But you can definitely get your B vitamins through foods naturally, like legumes and vegetables and things like that. But yeah, I say I always make recommendations to people. Again, this is based off of my own personal experience. What works for me? What works for me may not work for you, may not work for the next person, right? And it's a matter of understanding and knowing your body type. For me, it was trial and error. When I started training, I had no idea what to eat, what to do. I had no idea. You know, I just knew that I was going to the gym. I was doing cardio. I was lifting weights. I started to see change in my body. But then it caught up to me because I wasn't eating properly based off of the new activity that I was doing and the stress that I was putting my body through, right? Wow. So my hair started to fall out. And I was like, what is going on? Like chunks of hair was falling out. My skin was terrible. And I had to figure out, again, trial and error, what was going on. And I realized after going to the doctor and understanding, you know, where I was deficient, I needed more protein in my body. You know, when you're lifting heavy weights, you break down, you know, the protein in your muscle and you need to build that back up. So personally, again, through trial and error, I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do? What do I eat? I don't eat meat. And, you know, a lot of protein comes from meat, but, you know. Right. So I came to the point where I know, personally, I thrive off of a high protein, moderate carb, low fat diet. And again, that might not work for most people or whatever. Like, and I don't count macros. Macros being, you know, the macronutrients that are found in carbs, fats, and protein, right? I don't really count that because I understand like I'll pay attention to it. I won't, necessarily go hard, but I do recommend that if you are starting out working out and you want to change your diet, that I do recommend to my clients that, pay attention to that. Count your macros, because when you count those macros and you understand then what's going in your body, how much of that content is in your body, so then you know how to deal with that, what to do if you want to see change, right? Gotcha. So for me, it's again, I make informed decisions. I'll know. I'm like, if I am going to, for instance, work on a heavy muscle group that day, like if it's a leg day, I know for me personally that I need to consume more carbs, more protein for that, going into it.
Before you work out or after?
I'll do before, and then after I'm making sure I have some protein to So, but yeah, it's knowing your body, and there are different body types. There's the endomorph, the ectomorph, and the mesomorph are three.
You sound like Ghostbusters right now. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about over here? You need to break that down, Miss Laura
No,
Dee.
it really is important to understand your body type, because then you understand, the types of foods that might be better for you and the types of exercise that you could be doing to improve your overall health, right? So an endomorph is somebody who has a thicker frame. They have a thicker, wider rib cage. They have shorter limbs, and these are people who tend to gain weight easily.
Don't be looking at me when you break that down.
You look good. But
I saw that.
Let me scan you a little bit.
Little screwed up cheeks. Crooked little hair thing. Right? Okay.
But yeah, they're the ones who ends up to like gain weight easily and then hold it. It's harder to come off.
Okay.
Whereas an ectomorph is somebody who has a slimmer frame. They have like longer limbs. They just have a thinner waist by nature, and like it's harder for them, or they struggle to gain weight. And mesomorphs are like right in the middle. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. So a mesomorph would, tend to be a little more muscular maybe. They have like smaller joints, wider shoulders, and a nice thin waist. So it's understanding your body type and knowing, again, like, for instance, like an endomorph who is, might be thicker, knowing, okay, lay off the carbs and the fat, do more cardio. An ectomorph who is skinnier and struggles to gain weight, it's like, okay, pump up the carbs and the protein. And you want to lift heavier weights, right? Whereas a mesomorph, such as myself, it's like, okay, like I'll maybe exercise a little more moderately daily, every day.
You work out every day?
Not as I used to, but yeah, I try to.
Wow.
And yeah, I enjoy it. For me, like the working out, oh God, it's like a whole energy thing. You're like, please, yawn. Yeah, it is. Once you get into that habit, and it is about creating. If you create the habit for yourself, you're gonna be like, Watch. Laura Dee told me. Laura Dee told me.
Okay. Okay. So you say, Miss Laura Dee. So you say.
I don't say, it's Bible.
Is anything anyone should be worried about in reference to food and working out? Like,
yeah.
Can you eat too much protein? I guess too much of anything is bad, right?
Too much of anything is bad. Too much protein that can definitely, get into your urine. Like, it can definitely have a negative effect on you. Okay. That's why, again, it is important to understand it. And whether it's counting your macros, first is understanding your body type and, count your macros, right? And then see how your body responds. And you want to, tweak things as you go along. Keep a food journal. The same way you would keep maybe a daily journal, whatever, or dream journal, I don't care. But, keep a food journal. And then from week to week, see how your body reacts to the way you've been eating. And then, make changes here and there. So that's me personally, but yeah.
All right, so now we're going to have some fun.
Oh, I like
fun. All right. So I always like to randomly throw something that's been in my travels.
Oh.
And let me get your opinion on if it's good or not.
Okay.
Boop.
Steel cut oats. Yes. Steel cut oats are really, they're a good food choice, I think.
Okay.
I personally have rolled oats, whole grain rolled oats. Steel cut oats, they take so damn long to make. But anyway, it's really good. It is low fat, very high in protein. Very good way to start your morning for sure. Very good to have if you are going to work out.
Okay.
And it's something that I like to put in my smoothies a lot too.
Really?
Yeah, not steel. I put oats.
Or just
I put raw rolled oats into my smoothies. Smoothies has been such a saving grace for me. I don't know. I make some really damn good smoothies. I will tell you that.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Someone
I'm tooting my own horn right now, but
right
but it is a really good source of fiber. This is really super good. So
super good.
I do recommend oats. And it looks like you finished. This is empty.
You know what? All up in my business.
You enjoyed this.
I did. What's
good. Your opinion on it?
I won't eat regular oats anymore.
Really?
Well, just because the research is more protein. You're getting more out of it than the other oats that they sell that are more processed. Like, we always talk about processed foods. Well, we do at FOODCASTER. Talk about processed foods, but then why would you eat something that's healthy that's processed? The whole point is to get away and get closer to nature.
Yeah.
And steel cut oats are closer, so that's why. Yeah. And I like it. I like the texture. Some people don't like that texture.
Yeah, it does take getting used to, I suppose, but yeah, I like it.
Now, I went to a vegan convention, which is a plant-based NYC.
Okay.
And I got this, and this was very interesting. It's a pamphlet on oil, and it had all these different manufacturers from Italy, Spain, and I didn't realize there's all these different types of olive oil. I just think olive oil is olive oil. All olive oil is not created
equally.
Equal. Yeah.
Damn.
And not necessarily bad or good, but you really want to get extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah.
And the different regions, just like different grapes, just like different wines.
Yeah.
They're going to have a different flavor.
Yeah.
So I thought but you can have that actually.
Really?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really cook with olive oil too much at all.
Yeah.
The oils that I choose that are in my diet are grapeseed oil, avocado oil, safflower oil. Yeah, those
no
are
coconut.
and coconut oil. Those are all healthier options for me. So I think I found out, and I forget where it was that I read this, but that frying in olive oil actually isn't good.
It's not good.
So
the best thing really.
Cooking,
you know what it is?
What's that?
If you do cook with it.
Yeah.
I was told you're really supposed to. I think. Is it 100? Keep within under 180. Like, you're supposed to basically cook
the temperature you're talking about. Yeah.
At a certain temperature.
Because then the carcinogens. There's carcinogens. Yeah. Exactly.
Or just add it to your salad.
Yeah. A nice drizzle is cool. Like I do that. Yeah. So.
It's better, and that's just straight across the board with all oils.
Yeah.
What is the best oil cooked? No oil cooked.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
So that was just
I like this.
Learned a lot. Yeah. It was really, really, really cool. And what we got? So now, how can people find you?
So I am on all social media platforms.
Everyone, really? Everyone that ever existed, really?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I am on TikTok now all of a sudden because my son likes to make these videos, so now I'm on TikTok.
Okay.
But I am on, of course, all traditional IG, Facebook, Twitter as the Laura Dee. So that's THEE Laura Dee.
Mm-hmm.
So, the, not the, but the one and only.
Yeah. Laura Dee. It's like a lot of E's going on. Yeah. And everyone, Foodcaster, the real Foodcaster, except no imitation. So the real Foodcaster on IG. And what's my social media? Hold on a second. I forget.
Isn't it Michael 7 Michael?
I believe so. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh my goodness. It really
How do I
is.
know these things?
How do you know these things? So talented. And do you have a website?
No, and at the moment, just reach me through social media. And if anybody has any inquiries, I mean, I am more than happy to provide my email as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Wait. I have to have this mystery music track. There you go.
I can't hear it, but
I know, but you can pretend. And we would definitely like to have you come again. This was awesome.
Yes.
And anything you want to say really quick before we go?
Yes. I just want to say for people to just really be proactive about your health, okay? And just really educate yourself about good nutrition and just find the balance in your life, okay? So, don't stress so much.
Right.
If you eat healthy most of the time, then you can indulge it a little bit here and there and be happy.
Right.
So that's it.
And that's the goal, right?
That's the goal.
To be happy.
To be happy.
All right. So you're watching Foodcaster. We're on cable TV. All the information's on geekcaster.com. And hey, keep enjoying. Have a relationship with food. And there's some more food conventions coming up, and we'll have some stuff, and some goodies. And just hit us up and enjoy. You're watching Foodcaster. Thank you.